Hi singers and music fans, and welcome to this reaction and analysis of Lady Gaga. Is that alright? Now, why did I pick this song? Because I know she's had a new album drop quite recently, but as a vocal coach, my students over the years favour two songs by Gaga mostly. Can you guess what the number one is? What's that you say? Shallow from A Star Is Born soundtrack? You're absolutely right, clever you. Number two is also from that soundtrack. I'll always remember us this way. Two absolute bangers from that soundtrack, but a student brought this one, Is That Alright, to me a few months ago. So I wanted to take another listen and a little bit more of a deep dive because it's always a pleasure listening to Gaga's voice. I absolutely love it. And I'd imagine you do too if you're here. So let's just get into it, shall we? Here we go.
Life is so simple. A little boy, a little girl, laughing and
Nice
loving,
free time intro.
trying to figure out the world. It felt like summer when I kissed you in the rain.
Picking up now.
And I know your story, but tell me again. Nothing you say wouldn't interest me. All of your words are like poems to me. I would be honored if you would take me as I am.
Okay, before we get to the good stuff, I just want to talk a little bit about the vocal qualities that she's using in that intro. So the song opens on an F sharp 3. Life is so simple. You really hear her sort of lean into that. Life. Have a little listen.
Life is so simple.
Now, the resonance that she's using is sometimes called singing in the mask or a frontal sound. It's like she's sending her airflow here into the nose, which is what I'm doing as I speak now. If I just take it back to neutral and take it out the nose, you can hear the difference. A neutral sound, a little bit more frontal sound. It can go all the way into the nose, but that's not quite as nice. So we're just adding a little bit more of a frontal tone. You can hear the little bit of a nasal overtone, which adds more presence into the voice. This is so useful across the range, but when we've got really low notes, adding in this frontal sound just adds that presence and projection and power into the voice. Life is so simple. And do you know what? The voice just falls forward out of the front of the face with ease. So if you're a singer, you can try this on your low notes, just trying that frontal resonance, that masky area, bringing it in a little bit to give you presence in your low notes. And she's doing this beautifully in this first verse. Now, what we've got coming up in this chorus, Gaga does this a lot. I've noticed she keeps her verses kind of mellow, especially in ballads, and then she will just jump up about an octave to the chorus. And I call this a gear change when we're making a very big leap from something quite low and mellow to something really high and belty. And when we are making that gear change, we really have to think about changing our whole physical state. We would really need to think about taking a bigger breath, thinking about how much air pressure we're using, thinking about placement, thinking about vowel shapes, thinking about maybe anchoring, which I've mentioned in previous videos. And all of this happens when we take that breath. So if you are singing this song yourself, it's all about how you prepare for the big dynamic shift. Let's listen to that now, because this is where her voice, I feel, really sets on fire. You hear that big gear shift.
To look right in my
What a voice!
To tell me you
Love it.
to be by my side.
What a belter.
I want you.
You got me, Gaga. You got me.
At the end of my life.
Such conviction.
I wanna see your face. Wanna fall with grace. At the moment I die.
She literally gives me chills. I absolutely love her voice. And I think I love it so much because it's so distinctive. And as a pop artist, she's almost got that. It reminds me of like a soft rock power ballad singer from the 80s. She's got this rich, full tone. So you can hear that placement shift back. It's like she opens more space. Between the lines, I would be honored if you would take me as I am. then we get the big gear change. Everything shifts back to quite an open mouth, open throat. I want you. Oh, it feels, do you know what? I just love trying her voice on. You know, like when it's, when sometimes you're trying on someone's clothes or shoes and you're like, ooh, I wouldn't mind a pair of these myself. When I try on Gaga'S sound, I just really love it. I really relish using it. So in that gear change, we've got an octave leap, a bigger breath, much more support from the core, and a much more open sound from here back to here, big open, or like all of the cave space in the mouth and the throat is now getting involved. So tonally, we've got this really rich, powerful sound. And the other thing I love about what she does, and this is what makes it a little bit rock power ballad, is her fall-offs, right? So listen to how she ends many of her lines. Be by my side. To be by my side. And it's just almost like the dirtiness of the fall off makes it slightly more emotional, slightly more kind of rocky than pop, which is very clean. You know, you hear a lot of high, bright, sweet, clean voices in pop. Hers comes in like a hurricane and sings the shiz out of everything she's doing. Love it. But let's listen again to the end of this chorus, because she then shifts gear all the way back down. And when you've been blowing a lot of air, it is actually quite hard to then take it back to quite soft. So her gear shifting between dynamics is amazing.
Is that alright?
Beautifully done.
Is that alright?
Love that. I love that. Oh my God, did you hear how her voice almost disappeared? Is that alright? It goes into like a whisper. And I spoke a little bit about imperfections on a Billie Eilish video recently. What I mean is when the voice almost, it gets raspy or it completely cuts out. We've gone into total ghost voice. And I love that they left that in because it's emotional. And, you know, we can already hear what an incredible singer she is technically. And it's these little moments of vulnerability, softness. Remember, again, this comes from a soundtrack. So there's a story and a character that she was playing. And the way that the voice just completely cuts out. They could have redone that in the studio, you know. They probably did. And they probably just thought, nah, this is the one. This is where the magic is happening, in that softness and vulnerability and humanness. Love, love, love. All right. Second verse. I'm getting very excited here. Just think she's a killer singer.
I hope you're still with me.
Dropping back down into that mask.
When I'm not quite myself. And I pray that you'll lift
A little bit
me
more dynamic though in this verse.
when you know I need help.
So that mask resonance is going to help even more.
It's a warm celebration
To
of all
project
of our
as the dynamic
years.
is coming
I
up.
dream of our story, of our fairy tale. Family dinners and family trees, teaching the kids to say thank you and please, knowing if we stay together that things will be right.
All right, so yeah, we'll be right. Really gorgeous low note at the end there. Woohoo! We're going all the way down to an E flat 3 there, which is pretty low, and then she's going to be coming up to I want you. F sharp 4 to a B flat 4. What a big leap, what a big gear change. And if I go back to what I was saying about gear changing, all of those physical things that we need to change, I just want to demonstrate to you how that might look when actually singing. What I sometimes see with singers who are beginning their training, they will try to achieve different dynamics in the same physical state. So it would look like this. Knowing if we stay together that things will be right. I want you. And nothing physically changes, then we're just not going to achieve the result that we want with the same approach. We have to change our approach. We have to shift gear. So a gear shift might look like this. Knowing if we stay together that things will be right. I want you. So it's just about opening up the body, taking that big breath, allowing the rib cage to expand, perhaps a little anchor, opening up the vowel shape. We must change our technical and physical state as dynamics shift in songs. Okay, let's listen to that killer chorus again. Can't get enough of it. Whoop whoop. Go on, sing it, girl.
To look right in my
commitment, belief.
Tell me you love me. Don't be by my side.
Sorry, I just need to like do some 80s hand grabbing here.
At the end of my
Oh, yes. Hear that little bit of grit again. The emotional imperfections sells the story. Lovely.
Is that alright?
That's all right, Gaga. Yeah, that's all right. That is
all
all right, babe. That is all right.
Is that
Oh, lovely. Gorgeous. I just want to hear that line again. This beautiful control that she brings into the last line.
Is that alright?
Gorgeous. We've gone from a really belty and full sound to a nice breathy is that. On the Billie Eilish video I did recently, I spoke about how difficult it is to actually sing and control and support notes that are really breathy because the vocal cords are really open, and we've got this beautiful precise ending to the song while still having softness and vocal quality choice to end it with an emotional way. In that final chorus we hear a little bit of
At the end of my life.
so she does push a little bit into a natural distortion on at the end of my life. Now, if that doesn't come naturally in your voice, don't force it. You might hurt yourself. If it does come naturally, singing a tiny bit of distortion once in one song is not going to, damage your voice. There are experts out there who can teach you how to sing with rock distortion and metal screaming, in a healthy way. And if you're unable to achieve that sound, as long as you've got the emotional intensity at the end of my life, as long as you get the emphasis and the emotion in there, it's going to pop exactly the same way. So today we've learned a little bit about mask, bringing that voice forward. Now that can help all the way through your range with projection, but really good for low notes. So we've looked a little bit at gear shifting, so we really need to consciously think about all the techniques we're bringing in for them to land. We've talked about those vocal imperfections again, but it takes an amazing singer to be able to actually deliver them with a certain amount of technical control. Bit of an oxymoron there, but that's what makes a superstar. And we've learned that having such a killer voice like that is what gets you cast in a film called A Star Is Born. So thank you for listening to Is That Alright With Me? And I hope it was alright with you. If it is alright with you, I would love to ask you, if you've enjoyed this video, to like, to subscribe, to leave a comment. If you've really enjoyed it and you'd like to buy me a coffee, there's a link in my description. I'd love to see you again with me here in this space. So there will be another video soon. Ta-ra!